Oh, it's in there. Oh, you're going to call? Oh, you do it through the phone thing?
That way you guys can hear it.
Again, I'm not bragging. I'm just bragging, but I like the previously on this week as well.
That's coming up, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you going to talk about Jesus again?
No, but my friend Jim Sherman, he said he literally had to, he almost drove off the road.
That's too soon because we just had that happen down in California. So
Your friend's from Nashville.
I know.
I bet they know each other. I'm going to ask Dan if he knows them. What? No, they're both in the booze business in Nashville. Come on.
Because there's 4 people in Nashville?
He's not in the
I
booze
was thinking
business.
the same thing,
He's
but I
not
didn't
in the
say
booze
it.
business?
Well,
oh, Mike, okay.
it depends on who you talk to.
My guy's
4
in the booze
people.
business.
Okay, wait a minute. Quiet on the set. Quiet on the set.
I can't.
Shut up.
Fern's got jokes tonight.
Previously on Something About Nothing.
Yeah, I'm not a emoluments lawyer. Like that's not my my field. In fact, it's probably no one's field because there's very few cases on it.
It'd be hard to make a living, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'd be hard to make a living as an emoluments lawyer, but
We got to re-rack it.
You're
Because you
listening to
did a
Something
whole
About
little
Nothing.
thing in there.
We've got a few folks just like you.
This is
Previously on Something About Nothing.
yeah, I'm not a emoluments lawyer. Like that's not my my field. In fact, it's probably no one's field because there's very few cases on it.
It'd be hard to make a living, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'd be hard to make a living as an emoluments lawyer, but.
You're listening to Something About Nothing. We've got a few folks just like you to talk about what's happening in sports, the news of the day, and the absurdity of life. Here's our host, Scott Oshman.
all right. We are live once again. Fred's Rivertown Ale House, downtown Snohomish, just a few steps away from Seattle, and another gorgeous, rainy, cloudy, 40-degree day.
Beautiful.
Welcome in the voice of Tracy Jansen, tracyjansen.com. Fernalicious, those sound effects. There you go. And Timothy B. Boyle.
Good morning.
Good morning, good afternoon. Todd
Can't even
Elvig's
tell
running
what
the
time
board.
of day it is.
Oh, it's a
No,
beautiful
not with
He
this
thinks it's
weather.
night.
It looks
shut
the
up.
same all the
No.
time.
Good night, you should have said.
I've been cursing Tracy for like 3 days because of this
Stop
weather.
your belly aching. Man.
Todd Elvig running the board, and he doesn't have the microphone on right now if you're watching live on STSPN, but you just, depending on what we talk about, he always is like scrambling for a microphone.
Yeah, because he will be later when we get into some of the.
Yeah, he can only hold out so long.
He's not wearing his "Make America Great" hat tonight.
No, or the swamp hat, or
He is
Strapped.
oh, jeez, Louise.
Strap on?
Strap.
Tracy.
Oh, hey now.
Oh.
Strapped?
I told you this was going to be an explicit
Yeah, this is going to
version
be a
tonight.
heck of a one.
I heard that.
Is this when we
He
should
said, I
put
think
in
he
a
said he was
disclaimer in?
strapped. That's different than a
This
strap
might not
on.
be appropriate for children under the or
Oh, yeah.
Put in a PG.
Oh, that's right, because we're live. We're on,
We're on PG-13.
I don't know. He's no one can hear him that's actually going to listen to this podcast, and God bless him. We want to hear you. So get a microphone. Do you not have another one? As I've talked to the guy with no mic. Anyway, let's move on with the show. I want to start with.
That's how
and
we.
that's-
That's how we
that's how
cut
we
Todd
roll.
off, as we just take his mic
It's
away.
true. I this week got to go. We were talking about the weather, and I had a trip to Colorado, and I got to visit. I was in Golden, Colorado. Tim Boyle.
Home of Coors Light.
Exactly. So I do what I do every year when I go there, right? I run down. I go down to the Coors.
Can you
There's
hear
a
me?
big sign. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Now you put in a PG rating and tell them it's good. The PG rating is good until 7:35
Okay.
or 7:40. Can we
Se-
keep it PG until 7:40?
What
Because
time?
Maybe.
we have some really great young people that were
Excellent.
inquiring
All right,
about
well,
our show.
we'll do
That's
our best.
fantastic.
Right
I
next.
forgot the
All right,
sign this
And
week.
she's
I'm fired.
We're going to say hi to them at 7:30.
Okay.
Terrific.
Okay.
Thank you,
right.
Todd
We'll
Elving.
do our
good.
best.
We'll be good.
Back to my homage to Coors and Coors Light in Golden, Colorado.
Somewhere in Golden, Colorado. That's what the commercial.
Well,
always
yeah,
said.
but I went down to the main plant where they have this huge thing of Coors, and I do every year. I go down, and it's almost like I get a moment of silence, and
Do you
I
think of
pay
me while you're
homage.
down there?
Of course I do.
Thank you.
Yeah, didn't you see all the selfies I take?
Yeah, no, I didn't. But I gotta look.
I meant to. Anyway, the Coors just taste better in Golden, Colorado. I ordered it quite a few times.
Well, it doesn't have to travel that
No,
far.
it's
like
literally.
produce, you
They
know?
have like a system under the bars right there.
You're getting it from the source.
Yeah.
Just like when I went to Ireland. What's the beer that?
Guinness.
Guinness. Duh. That tastes way better in Ireland.
Is that
I
like-
can't believe still that you actually drank Guinness.
Oh yeah. Well, when you're in Ireland, you got to.
Okay.
It's like
Was-
Starbucks in Seattle tastes better here, right?
Do you think so? No. Okay. And then this led me to, I was there for a sales meeting, Mountain Smith, our great brand we've had for many years, love them. And I'm sitting at this buffet, and it struck me because I was this is the question for the group, because before I was at this conference, Prosper Conference, and I'm sitting, this is a huge conference, and there's just this massive buffet line where this really first hit me there, and it kind of just triggered it. I don't understand. They got to figure this out, because you ever been walking through a buffet and there's just a ton of people and it's long buffet and you don't know what to get when you start the buffet because you don't know what's coming.
Yeah.
You don't know what's down the line.
Well, you got to scope it. You got to do some recon if you're
You
going.
do.
To
But
a
it was
buffet,
when there's a
right?
bunch
Yeah,
of people
you do.
and you kind of
Check it out.
well, I think
Otherwise, you end up at the end
I
of
mean-
the buffet
because they
with
put
a
the good
mountain
stuff
of
at the
plate.
end.
I know
the
this-
shrimp and the steak and everything at the end.
this is my problem
You know? Oh.
because I load up and then by the time I get there I'm like,
Then you
damn.
got a full plate.
Yeah.
Oh no, you got to scope it out.
Full
That's,
plate, you got the mountain plate.
that's a little bit of an amateur move, right there.
No, I'm a little disappointed.
I
Yeah.
think because now they have video baby monitors and we video everything, they should just put a monitor at the front of the barbecue for the end, and I can see exactly. I don't have to walk up. I don't have to bother people. I don't have to lose my place in line. That's the other thing at this Prosper thing. I risk, if I went and coasted and checked it out, I'd come back, I'd have to wait another 25 minutes.
Hey, listen, I thought the Jews were professionals at this. I'm very
what?
disappointed. And like, the buffets and scoping it out
yeah,
and knowing what to
negotiating
get.
your way through
Yeah.
the food.
And getting your spot back when you come back.
See? I know what I'm talking about.
Well, I'm an Iowa Jew. I
think
was
your
terrible.
dad would be disappointed.
We
when
can
he
ask
listens
him.
to this.
We can ask him. So no one else has this problem. Again, this is just me.
Well, I think I've had that experience before, but I have learned over the years that the good stuff is at the end. So
So you just kind of don't
Yeah.
put much on and you just wait it out?
All the cheap starches is at the beginning.
But
They're
do
at
you
the
go
beginning.
do recon?
Sometimes I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not a
For
buffet girl.
delicious? Oh, really? Like you don't do buffets ever?
Yeah, but you've been to weddings and.
I mean, what if
that
you're
have
forced to?
buffet.
Like I'm at this
Like,
meeting,
yeah.
I can't.
Like you don't necessarily
salad.
choose a buffet.
See, I'm with Fern. I'm not a buffet person, but if I was, and I've been to a few, you got to scope it out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And,
Like, it's not my first choice. I don't say I'm going to go to a buffet
You're
tonight.
not
Yeah.
Golden Corral up in Marysville.
No, I'm not doing
like
that.
my girlfriend did the
But
other day.
I've
I'm
been-
like, on purpose you drove up there?
I go to weddings, right? Weddings have
yeah, but
buffets.
that buffet's
or-
not that big.
Yeah,
You can kind of
depends on
eye
your
that from
ring.
the beginning to the end. You're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to have that meat right there, that shrimp right there. Okay.
yeah.
Well, that's
Never-
also my issue
good.
with like the stir fries and Mongolia grills and stuff, where they have the shield so low you can't
Yeah.
get your hand in there. You're
That's
trying
the-
to get the.
That's the sneeze guard.
I know, but they got to make
Which
the
is
sneeze.
good.
That is the sneeze guard. You're right.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
goodness.
Yeah, you
Okay.
don't want these people like, they're coughing and sneezing. and-
Drooling.
All right. Well, this is good advice. Again, I've learned so much from you people.
Thank you.
The wiping in the
You're
machines after I work out. Now I'm to a point. This morning, I didn't even go to the weird room coat rack. There was space at the other one, so I don't even have a story for today.
Because there was no weirdness in your area?
Nope, nothing. I got nothing.
That's good to hear.
That's good.
Lat guy
day.
took a day off, so that was fun. I do love Mill Creek. They actually liked my Instagram post,
Yeah.
so shout out to them. Okay, here's my other question real quick. So this hotel, I think this makes a lot of sense, but they don't have a bar of soap. They have the body wash, the shampoo. See, there you go. I'm sitting there going, I don't know how I feel about the body wash because I don't like
it.
it.
Scrubby when you have the body wash. Otherwise, it
Let's-
just
You gotta-
slides right off your
Yeah,
arm.
you're
Plus,
like,
I-
where did it go?
I'm a soap girl. I
Yes.
like a good bar of soap.
Yes. Tim?
There's some things you just need the bar of soap. And I'll just leave it at that. You just got to have the bar
I
of
think it's a
soap.
millennial thing because my kids are all about, oh, no, they're both like body wash. That's all they use is body wash. And I'm like, I travel with a bar of soap, you know?
Yeah, my wife does. I'm not there.
No, I'm
I
not
don't
soap
do that.
girl
I just
either.
assume they're going to have soap. And
I love a good soapy smell, like not just like it smells like soap. I think that's like the best.
Well, I was
Really?
trying
I know.
to.
So what do you do?
Yeah.
Well,
when
at,
you travel,
at my own
what-
personal home,
Well-
I have the little scrubby and
got
the
a loofah.
gel.
Yeah.
But then when I travel, I take my little own personal scrubby with me, and if they have
Oh,
gel, I'll
yeah.
use it, and if they don't,
I-
then I travel with it.
Okay,
I
Well,
take it with
kinda-
me.
This is a confession. I do both. Like at home, I start with the bar, and then I go to the body wash because it smells better. I mean, it smells good.
totally
It
agree, and
smells
I do
good.
that sometimes
Yeah.
too.
Really?
But some things you got to have the bar for. I'm telling
Yeah,
you.
no,
No.
the bar's
And-
good.
No.
I'll never give up the bar.
No.
I'm sitting there trying to buy in because it's efficient from a hotel, right? You have these wasted bars. You use a bar, then you leave,
Yeah,
and
they
then they
use
got to
it
throw it
once,
away.
yeah.
But the body wash just isn't satisfying. I feel like you got to like pump like a gallon in there, get it all going. I don't know. This just
That's
really
why you
struck
have to
me.
have a scrubby.
You have to
because
have a scrubby,
if
yeah.
you put the gel in the scrubby, then you scrub the
Yeah.
little gel like this,
And it gets
as you
all
can see
sudsy.
on the
And a little
doodad.
bit goes
Kind of the
a long way.
Then
epitome
it goes all over.
It's kind of the epitome of first world problems.
Scott, can you
It
take
is.
your skirt off for a
It
minute
is.
and
Take
go
your
ahead and
skirt
do
off.
that? Because
No.
body wash, that's definitely.
Why? These are questions I have for
But
the
more,
world.
more and more, it's just body wash, right?
Yeah,
They don't
I
always
know.
have
I don't like
bars
it.
of
Hey,
soap there.
I guess this is a live shout out. Riker and Keeley, they were here at Fred's Rivertown Ale House.
Riker and Keeley.
How you doing?
Awesome.
Did we?
Thanks for
we didn't
listening.
kick them out, did we?
No, did we?
Oh.
Todd, they were sitting right back here, I guess, in back of
All
us.
right.
Hey,
All right,
Riker and
Michael.
Kelly.
Michael Scott Bates always here, serving up some good drinks. Well, good. See, these are things that is this weird? These are the things that cross my mind, and I'm curious to
It's a
know.
little weird, but you know.
See, I have a whole thing
Todd's
about
like, it's
soap.
way weird.
What soap is made out of isn't good for you, and it builds up on the shower, so I don't like it.
Yeah.
What now?
Well,
Say that again.
I said what soap is made out of isn't good for your skin. It's not good for you.
Oh, you're.
And then it
Oh.
builds up on your shower
okay.
floor.
Yo,
and
you're
everything.
buying into the commercials. It's like, oh, yeah.
I like the
no.
Dove
I've done a little
commercials.
research.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
yeah.
Todd.
A man should never have an opinion about body wash. I just got.
Well, I was forced to use it.
Yeah, but you can't.
It's
I didn't have an option.
This is
It's
a
like using
millennial
shampoo to
thing.
wash your
I
body,
needed
'cause
a laugh, Scott.
what I
I'm
do
super
sometimes.
grateful you brought it up.
Okay, thank you.
you know,
This goes on defending the
That's a-
millennials segment.
It's a good point.
Anyway.
Along with the
Thank you,
death
Todd.
of the top sheet.
The
Yes,
depth of
my
the top
children.
sheet.
Yeah.
What is
So-
that?
That's
Oh my
fine.
gosh,
I'm not a
I
top
thought
sheet
that
guy.
was just my house.
Oh my God! So just that's for a future episode, fans.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh! Please, yes, make a note of that.
And then just on a quick note, we were talking earlier before we went on air in Seattle. We had when I say torrential downpour, even the longtime Seattleites were like, that was a lot of rain in a very short period of time. We were downtown at Capitol Hill. I never feel really hip enough to be there. We went to a great restaurant, Quinn's Pub. Highly recommend it. And while we're waiting, parking the car, I'm with the woman I'm related to by marriage, Erin Messina, and so she looks over and she goes, "Oh my God, is that guy doing what I think he's doing?" And I'm trying to park the car, and I look to the right, and this poor homeless guy is standing up with a wine bottle, going to the bathroom, full.
Urinating.
Yeah, he's urinating. Sorry, he's peeing in the wine
Inside
bottle.
the wine
Are
bottle?
we after 7:35? Can we go here? Oh.
This is PG-13. This
We
is
all
okay.
And so-
pee.
But-
we all
Yeah, we all
pee.
pee.
Why is
and-
he peeing in the wine bottle? Why
I
is
think
He
it's a
had to
great
go and
idea.
nowhere to go, and
And at
so I
least it
looked
was in
over.
the wine bottle. I'm good with that.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
could
Wasn't
see
all
his
over the
thing.
street.
I quickly verified and then, reported. I reported to
You
my wife
confirmed
that
that,
in
yes,
fact
yes, Aaron,
it
that is-
was.
that's exactly what you're
he
seeing.
was fully drop trow, and he was going in the wine bottle. So anyway, we had that going for us. Okay, Capitol Hill,
You
good
win.
times.
I love Capitol Hill.
It's a great
It's my
place.
people.
Yeah, there isn't there. We said there's a
Gay
place.
bar?
No, a place you go to go watch shows. The new
Oh, Numos?
Numos. We were right across from Numos.
Yeah, I love Numos.
All right, wow, sports here. Let's move it on to
Where do we
sports.
start?
Oh my gosh, and we're already into it. NBA playoffs and NHL playoffs.
I don't really have a lot of comments on either one of those.
Well, we're getting those teams, so I wanted to bring it
started.
up. We should start paying attention because next year we might have one.
I just want Cleveland and to not be there, and same with Golden State. I'd like to see a couple other teams.
I agree.
Be there. You know, Houston might do it this year. San Antonio, who knows?
Philadelphia's on right now, 92-96. Although Miami's up.
But I just
here, hold on. Fernlicious is raising their hand.
Well, only because so Tanner, that's my son, almost 16. He follows both of those, the NHL and the NBA. So he talks to me.
The association, we like to call it.
Yeah, the association. So he follows those, and so in order to actually have a conversation with him, then I have to follow him a little bit either. So he gave me a team this year in the NHL, and it's the Tennessee team. I don't even know what they are.
They're the Predators. We're going to talk to actually coming up. Good tease. Booze Talk, the first edition. So Jeremy Graham from Nashville, Tennessee.
Nice. So I told him if I was going to watch NHL with him, I had to cheer for somebody. He's like, so okay, well here you can have Tennessee. So I have Tennessee. That's my team now.
This is good because they're up 2-0 on the Avalanche,
exactly.
Colorado Avalanche.
Oh, look at you! You're in it.
I had to do a little homework.
Exactly, and then I'm at work on Friday, and I look over at my coworker, and he's got his jersey on. He's got his flag in his cubicle. I said to Tanner, "Okay, what is this?" Philadelphia Flyers.
Oh, the Flyers.
Flyers.
Yeah. I'm like, wow, okay, so he's kind of up on it, and I'm getting better at it.
Well, Seattle is going to be an NHL city, so I thought maybe we should all kind of start paying attention.
We should probably start getting with it.
I'm ahead of you a little bit. I'm paying attention.
You are. You're a progressive person.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you're our news reporter.
And then the NBA.
What are you doing with the whiskey stick?
The whiskey stick
it's a
tastes
toothpick.
like wood.
Can you taste any?
It tastes like a toothpick.
For those who are watching on live stream, STSPN, that's Fernlicious.
I'm going to go ahead and pick my teeth.
Maybe it's because you guys are already drinking. And you can't.
Nope, Tim. It's
okay.
It tastes like a toothpick.
It did when I first got it.
And then the NBA. Do you know that they're saying that this should be the best playoff series in like many years because why is Cleveland not that great?
Well, Cleveland's not even the top seed.
No, and they lost. They're already down 0-1.
So because other teams might get in there and shake it up a little bit.
There might be some opportunity.
Yeah.
Markelle Fultz now playing for the Philadelphia.
Is he hurt though?
76ers. No, he's actually back playing. Okay. He's the University of Washington phenom. Anyway, that really was just a kind of a teaser. And we have a lot of national listeners, and so if your city is involved in the playoffs, wouldn't it be fun to right now have a team that's in it in something? Tracy, our sports
It'd be
director.
so awesome. It'd be so great. It's like
Jansen,
all my dreams.
Yeah, if Starbucks didn't sell our Sonics, we'd be fine.
So
I hear that's all because of Katrina. Did you know that?
Katrina?
Yeah.
Katrina the storm?
Yes.
Tropical storm?
Yes, because what happened was New Orleans then didn't have a place for them to play, and so Oklahoma said they had this brand new facility. They're like, come on up, you can play in our facility. And so they came up and they played in their facility, and then the town got the taste of it, and they're like, what, you're going back to New Orleans? They go back to New Orleans, and then look at the Sonics are for sale. Boom.
Interesting.
Done.
Wow.
It's a little deeper than that, but I didn't know that part of the story.
Very interesting.
That's good stuff.
This is water cooler talk at work.
Well, yeah, it's stuff you're not even part of your news thing, and you threw that out.
No,
you're good. It's great.
She's expanding her horizons.
Okay, let's get a little local here.
Take over, Trace.
The NFL, the draft is 9-10 days away, 26th to the 28th. Coming up. It's actually in Texas now. They're moving it around in AT&T Arlington. So the Seahawks, I can't verify this. They have like 17 picks. I thought they don't have a first round. They have 2 in the second, 1 in the third, and the rest the 5th, 6th, and 7th.
They don't have a first round for sure.
Okay.
I didn't even think they had a second, but maybe they do.
2 second-round picks is what I looked up.
Second round?
Maybe we did, one of them. Anywho, they re-sign Austin Davis, which, like, who cares and who could even know who that is?
No, I'm with you. No, they re-signed him. It's like a ho-hum
Am I talking to myself here?
No, I'm with you. You just kind of stopped mid-sentence. You were talking.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, you were talking. And
where are we?
Austin Davis.
Okay.
So they re-signed Austin Davis.
Yes, because apparently they have Russell Wilson and then they don't have anybody, which I'm going to tee this up for you, Mr. Boyle. They apparently, and there's 2 sides of the story of how the conversation, but they requested a workout or meeting with Colin Kaepernick.
Correct.
And then it didn't happen.
It didn't.
That was Fernlicious, by the way, for our sound effects. We don't have a separate, Foley operator over here.
Good job, Fern.
Nice job. Why do you not like Colin Kaepernick?
I'm sorry. I think he's great.
I do too.
But
because why? I mean, because of his football
No,
abilities.
okay, I
or-
know nothing. Okay, I know nothing about his football abilities, but I feel like I'm standing up for the guy that everybody loves to hate because I support his choice to take a knee.
And
you
that's
know?
fun,
There you
and
go.
that's all great. So maybe he should be on the Seattle City Council or something. But for the football team, I don't know that it's a
No,
good
he's in
fit.
San Francisco. He can't be on the Seattle
No,
City
he's not
Council.
anywhere. He's not
nowhere.
anywhere, which is the whole point. So you want to tell the story? So
the-
Kaepernick's story was basically said you're going to take a knee. I'll do the Kaepernick side.
Okay.
Kaepernick and his agent said they asked Seattle said you're going to take a knee during the anthem. He said yes, and it was don't come here.
Well, the Seattle side of the story is they wanted a little further info, like what's your plans for your activism and things like this. And they didn't actually ask him if he was going to take a knee. They wanted basically some info, like what's your plans, and he wouldn't commit to anything. So they basically called off the meeting. And I get where Seattle's coming from. They've got a business to run, and if it's going to disrupt the team and the fans. It's not worth their headache.
Well, he's literally in court this week or last week. He's suing the NFL for collusion.
Well, another reason you may not want to grab him.
Now
I'm just looking at it from a business standpoint.
I can find logic behind that.
Yeah.
I can find logic behind that.
Well, I'm sure the Seahawks can find that logic too.
So what you said you're going to surprise me with your opinion and your spin on this. Not spin, your opinion.
Well, my opinion is that initially I'm thinking, okay, that's a good idea. Let's get him in here. Let's get him a workout and whatnot. But then if he's not going to commit to anything, it's like, okay, well, the Seahawks like I said, they've got a business to run as a football team. And if you think he's going to be disruptive to the team, that's not going to be worth it. And the other side, too, is Colin Kaepernick wants to be a starter in the NFL. He does not want to be a backup. And you've said it yourself that a lot of teams
he should.
be
He
a
probably,
starter.
based on his skill, he should.
Maybe, maybe not. Whether that's true or not, let's give you the benefit of the doubt
Thank
that
you.
that's true.
That's the nicest
Well, the
thing you've ever done
Seahawks-
for me.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
The Seahawks don't need him to come in here and be a starter.
That's not my birthday present, by the way. That's in August.
What?
Yeah. I'm not going to let that one go.
August
But you're
2nd,
right.
We'll have further
First.
discussions
Yes.
First.
August 1st.
Yes.
But you're right.
on that. So is he going to be disruptive? He wants to be a starter, so why do the Seahawks bring him in here for that? Well, they've got a starter.
They
So,
do. They do.
No, that makes sense. Then,
You know.
right? No.
Anyway.
Well, but now Cleveland, on the other hand, or somebody like, Cleveland's been without a quarterback. Well, now they got Tyrod Taylor, but I agree. There's probably some teams that could use his skills, but it's all it's a risk analysis.
It is. I mean,
you
the
know?
collusion thing that he's in the court with the NFL and the owners, again, that's a big part of it. We can go on forever about this. I mean, they've let stuff way worse go. If the player is a good player and is going to let him win, they've let him play.
Well, that's the thing.
that's the.
If it was Aaron Rodgers, I think nobody would have a problem with it, or Tom Brady. But
Yeah.
the question is he a starter or is he a backup? And he's right on that cusp. I mean, he wasn't the starter in San Francisco.
When he left, yes.
See, in that.
Okay.
Can I just have like?
Yeah.
You get
See, let's say-
Fernalicious. I mean,
I just want to say, it's like, what's your work ethic and how are you going to do your job, Colin? That's
Colin.
it.
Colin.
Sorry about that.
Same thing.
But I'm just saying.
Get Fern another glass of wine, please.
uno mas.
I'm done. I'm not talking anymore.
You got to save it for the
Colin.
news.
Right.
Colin
But
or Colin.
I get what you're saying. Where is your priorities? And that's what
Tell
the
me
Seahawks.
about your work plan.
Yeah.
Because
That's what the Seahawks wanted to
you,
know.
But no-
I went for a job interview and I told them about my political plan. They'd be like, "It's nice to meet you, Fern.
Well,
Good luck on your job search."
But they asked about his social causes because, again,
That's
the
because
owners.
he's the one that's brought them to the forefront.
Correct. And for the greater good, that's another debate for another day. We got to
Oh,
get out of
she's
here.
He
Well,
wants
I
to
just
stop
got
now.
cut
I don't, but
She
we-
was 100% right on that. By
We-
the way.
Thank you, TB.
We got to get out of here.
Oh,
This
we
is,
gotta
we're
go.
way long. I was even going to talk Mariner baseball for a
hang on.
second.
Do it.
Go
Well,
Mariners.
they're 8-5. They play Houston tonight at start of a 4-game series. It's a big series. We got Paxton going tonight. Felix played well. He came off a horrible horrible outing the previous one. The bats all of a sudden went dead. But the bats actually, they have some bats. They got like
They
four
scored
guys.
10 runs the night before or something.
Yeah, they
didn't
got
or-
4 or 5 guys hitting 300 plus. I cannot remember a time in the Seattle Mariner history back to like 1995 or 4 or maybe 2001. It's been a long time since we had half our lineup hitting 300 plus. Now, granted, it's April 16th.
Well, I think, to me, I was just going to say, it seems like every year we've got all these guys batting like 370 or something.
God, they suck like Mendoza
for the
line.
first week or two.
Well,
Remember, we've
maybe.
only played like 11 games
I know.
or something. So,
I'm already on the edge.
But my biggest fear right now is we're going into a series with Houston, and every time we do that, we're like looking really good, then we blow like 4 in a row.
Zanino, the catcher, who the guys filled in great, he's starting to rehab right now, so Zunino can come back. All right, when we come back, we will talk to Nashville, Tennessee. Woo! It is our first rendition of Booze Talk with Jeremy Graham after this.
Is it Jeremy Graham?
It's actually our second.
Is that Jimmy's brother?
Do we have Booze Talk?
At Christmas, remember?
Oh, you're right. We did.
Yeah.
That was kind of a. What did we do? We just talked amongst
I don't
ourselves.
know. I was just drinking. I don't remember.
Is Jeremy Jimmy's brother?
I hope not.
Where's my?
Oh my gosh.
I don't want to go to your party, but I don't want you to go without me.
That, my friends, is the band Diving Horses. That is the song Love You All the Time off the new EP 1.5, Diving Horses 1.5. I do, just a little reminder here, I do play the entirety of the song at the end of the podcast.
That's nice.
It's
I like
really
that.
good. These guys are fantastic. Huge thanks, Dan Mullen on vocals, Aaron Bunchheiser, I'm probably just booching, I'm probably butchering everything that has a strings on it that Aaron plays. Mickey Elman on drums and Jen Reichwein Byrne on vocals. But it was so fun because I listened to Tony Kornheiser's show. I listened to the music. Then I liked these guys. I reached out to them. And Tony, all his listeners are called Littles. And so the minute I emailed Dan Mullen, he's like, of course, us Littles have to stick together. Of course you can play our songs. So this EP coming out is not even – it just came out this week. It's available on Bandcamp. They're a group out of Annapolis, Maryland. They're not playing any live gigs until June, but I'll put all the links in the show notes. So huge thank you to Diving Horses. Now it is time to call our friend Jeremy Graham. And apparently Tracy let me know that this is our second installment of Booze Talk. And this is I can hear the ringing. Jeremy Graham.
This is Jeremy.
Jeremy, Scott Oshman, Tim Boyle, Fernalicious, Tracy Jansen, TracyJansen.com. Todd Elvig here on the Something About Nothing podcast. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Scott.
Fantastic. Are you watching the Predators? That's, by the way, we learned on the air tonight that that's Fern's team, the Nashville Predators.
That is fantastic.
I don't know anything about them, but that's my son assigned me to them, so that's all right.
How are they doing? They're up 2-0 against the Avalanche.
Rocky start in the lovely Denver, down 2-0 right now, but a long way to go.
All right, what period?
Only the first.
Oh, they got
Lots of time. Lots of time.
Plenty of time.
Jeremy, you are a self-made bourbon man. I mean, you are an expert because you've spent an enormous amount of time in the great state of Kentucky. Is that what we're believing, right?
That's what we're believing tonight.
That's how many bourbons in.
And for those of us, like, what I'm really interested in here is because I get confused. I haven't been drinking this. I don't know all this stuff. I get confused. Just set it out for between. What's the difference, just quickly, between bourbon and whiskey?
Well, I can help you out there. Whiskey is an American thing. Bourbon is an American thing. But whiskey has many different things coming from our wonderful country of Scotland. But in order to drink bourbon, it has to be made in the great U.S. of A. And on top of that, Scott, 51% corn and has to be aged in a charred oak barrel.
Aha.
This is very specific on the bourbon.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think I probably mix those up quite often. So my next question is, guy like me, I mean, I don't know anything about anything, which is classic. Everyone here at the table knows that. And if I want to be cool and walk up to the bar, like a great place like Fred's Rivertown Ale House where we are, we have probably one of the largest bourbon and whiskey, by the way, selections, and scotch.
Scotch, yeah.
Everything. They got it all here. In probably the Seattle area, North Sound especially. But so when I'm trying to get a feel, like, how do I try and act like the cool guy and know what to order when it comes to bourbon? Like in coffee, when I started drinking, my friend who got me, he's like, we're going to start you off with a mocha, then you're going to work your way to a drip. So what, Jeremy? what do I?
It's like mocha is the entry.
Did you get rid of the creamer, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, now you're just mainlining it. So what is the starter kit for a person who wants to kind of get into bourbon but doesn't know really what they're doing?
Well, the great thing about bourbon is that it's a wonderful spirit that, you don't have to spend $100 a shot to really enjoy it.
Thank God.
You don't have to spend $20 a shot to enjoy it.
Because that's a $200 glass there, Scott. I mean, TB.
I know.
Scott has high taste.
That's Tim Boyle.
I meant TB. Sorry, my bad. Anyway, yes, but TB does have high taste. I can tell him he needs to drink that a little faster because there's a little more too much water in it.
I'm on my second already.
Well, the
Come
good
on,
thing
catch
is
up.
there might be too much water, but the booze doesn't go anywhere, so it stayed put. So
Okay, sorry, Jeremy. You're back to Jeremy.
Really? You're like taking over the segment.
This is fantastic. I thought you talked a lot, Scott.
Oh. Nice to meet you too, Jeremy.
you just got
The
put
one
on
and
her
only time
list.
that Booze Talk makes this podcast.
They love you now. You got fans. But anyway, what do I order? What do I walk in? I'm a rookie.
Well, the greatest way to start out is, like any bar and any drink, is you got many choices and you can drink what you want. But, for somebody going up to the bar, preferably I like it on the rocks. Some people like it neat. But a good one to start with, Scott, is Buffalo Trace.
We talked about this earlier. That my wife is madly in love with Buffalo Trace.
It's one of the great Kentucky bourbons. And for somebody starting out, you're not going to spend a bunch of money, but you're going to get the wonderful taste of Kentucky bourbon.
Tracy Jansen's like following on Instagram, and you also had a site actually leading to that for a starter who wants to kind of educate themselves. What's the site, Jeremy?
It's called Bourbon Review, and on Instagram, if you go to @BourbonReview, it's a great article. We're coming up on one of the greatest horse races of all time in the state of Kentucky, the Kentucky Derby, and mint juleps and everything else will be flowing. So if you haven't gotten into bourbon, now's the time.
Perfect time.
Yeah, that's not a problem. We're kind of deep into
What
it.
was it? Blue Trace? What was it?
Buffalo Trace.
Buffalo Trace.
Sorry, my bad.
I want to know how much is too much, though. How much?
Tracy's concerned
You
because
mean like per night or
Yeah,
what,
'cause
for a
in
week?
general.
do you want me to
membership?
lead this in, Tracy, for you?
Yeah, go ahead.
So at Costco, Jeremy, maybe they have this out there in Tennessee, but you can buy, I don't know, like a half rack of freaking Bullet bourbon. It's the size of
Half
a
gallon.
pumpkin.
Small infant.
It is a small infant of Bullet, and Tracy's a little concerned about her, the
Consumption.
velocity that she gets through that big bottle.
That just sounds like a night in Tennessee here, Scott.
I feel so much better now. Thank you, Jeremy.
I
Thank you.
I agree with Jeremy. I would say let your pocketbook be the talk. If you can afford to go in and go through it, then you're fine. You're fine.
okay.
Do
It's all
listen to
good.
your liver, too.
Oh,
And the great thing
do.
about Costco is you can come back the next day.
and get it.
Okay, and
And trust me, they don't judge at Costco. They're so glad you're back.
Right.
now, Jeremy, if you got the starter kick, but now we're talking about the pinnacle of bourbon, and you have reached the pinnacle. Pappy's, right, or whatever you call it?
It's Pappy.
Pappy.
Happy?
And, talk about a rare bourbon. most of these bottles, if you do find them online, go anywhere from $1,200 to up above $3 and $4 grand.
Ooh.
So maybe I don't need to write this one down.
Yeah, I'm not writing that
All right.
one.
Anyway,
But if you travel with me, there's a chance that you can get the Costco deal.
Ooh.
So
I don't think I could even afford the
I
Costco
know.
deal
I'm
on
like,
that
what's
one.
Well,
that?
I want to know, how do I get to travel with him?
This is why. Well, you want to travel with Jeremy because his nickname is Upgrade. Because everywhere this guy goes, he is upgraded.
He's that effervescent personality.
He
that they
is,
can't,
right?
You can't help it.
you just walk up, and I was like, presidential suite, I'll take it.
Wow.
Wow.
So what is
okay.
this, Pappy? You were at
So where are we going?
Yeah, you're going to.
So we're going to Southern California at one of my favorite boutique hotels, Hotel Irvine, there, and Scott has had the pleasure of going, even though he didn't get his Marriott points. He did stay with us one night.
I'm still
and,
bitter about that. I didn't make like platinum or whatever.
I know, one visit, Scott.
Mm-hmm.
But my wonderful boss, Frank Capo, and I were at the bar there in Hotel Irvine, and we were having a nightcap. And he found a bottle of Pappy Van Winkle in the bar there, turned around backwards. Of course, the lady turns around, brings it over. We know what it is. She has no clue. So as she goes to look up the price, we're thinking, yeah, this is easily going to be $100 to $150 a shot. Well, luckily for us, and me being Upgrade, the price was not in the computer. So I did turn on my charm, and I told her that we would take 3 if she would charge us the Woodford Reserve price, which goes for $12 a glass.
So you
She
had
agreed.
one of the most expensive bourbons for the price of $12 or something.
$12. We had 3 that night. We told her to hide the bottle, and we finished the bottle the next day.
Are you leaving out the part where the waitress got fired, too?
That is a great point, because I said, Frank, we will never see her again, because when her boss realizes what she did, she's gone.
Oh my goodness.
So what's the
We came
difference?
back
I
a
want
month later. She was still there.
Okay, Jeremy, because I was about to not like you anymore. You got this poor young
That was
lady
2 strikes.
fired.
That was 2 strikes
I'm
on
like,
him.
Fern,
dude,
man, she
come
flips
on.
on you quickly.
Come on,
She does.
this is her job.
But
She's got to
Costco
pay
in
for her
Seattle's going to
children.
run out
Sure.
of this bourbon. It's gonna have to
Tracy
come
has a
and go
question
to
for
the
you, Upgrade.
So what's the difference between, like, if I were going to sit at the bar or at the table like I am right now, sipping
Or at
on
home.
or draining my bottle of Bullet, and the Pappy Van Winkle? I mean, what am I going to be tasting differently?
That was a kicker at University of Washington I didn't like. He was Mount Si Van Winkle.
Well,
Squirrel.
Cameron Van Winkle. Always hooked it to the
Come in,
left.
Jeremy.
Hated that guy.
Jeremy,
Go
come
ahead,
in.
Jeremy.
when you open the bottle of Pappy, a little leprechaun comes out, dances on the
Oh,
bar for you all
well,
night, so you enjoy it better.
I do like, I want a leprechaun.
Oh,
That
I
would be
kinda
good.
like that.
I
I'd
would-
like that a lot.
But
I
what,
really like
seriously, has
the
it been
leprechaun.
aged for 100 years? I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's the thing. Basically what happens is you fall asleep for like 100 years.
You're so enamored with the leprechaun that you just wake up and it's about 50 years later.
I'm totally
Oh,
gonna, I want one
gosh.
of these leprechauns.
All right.
So like a minion?
No, bourbon is aged many different. It's all about being aged, and so they have a 12, a 24, and a 23 year.
Okay.
In age, and so that's why the bourbon thing has like the millennials all of a sudden have just like hit the road and the ground running, and like bourbon is the next coolest thing out
Yep.
there. But the problem is that here
Because their
just,
parents are buying it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like the cable company. They're still attached. They're still
We're all
using
drinking
their
Boone's Farm and
login.
Natural Light in college, and these kids are drinking Woodford Reserve and Bullet every Friday.
There you go.
But no, I mean, the thing about it now is my friends up here in the great state of Kentucky, you can only age bourbon so fast. It's not like you can just brew a new batch of beer. So some of these finer bourbons come at a higher price due to the limited availability.
It's like wine, like anything else. Tracy's not buying it.
No, I'm not buying the toothpicks.
Oh,
I'm
we
sorry.
have whiskey toothpicks that are getting a serious
Tim
half-star
Tim
review right
wasted his
now.
money.
I brought in some of these whiskey toothpicks I bought at a
Tastes like
men's
wood.
clothing store, and they're giving me like the fake news hashtag on it.
All right, upgrade Jeremy
Cheers.
Graham, our bourbon expert. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks, Jeremy.
We
Nice
will.
to
Hey,
meet you,
it was
Jeremy.
great talking with you all.
All right.
Hopefully, I can finish my booze here, and you guys enjoy the rest of your podcast.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
We'll
you.
talk to you later, man. Thanks.
Uh-huh.
Bye-bye. Jeremy Graham, Booze Talk, a little bourbon. Van
Like my
Winkle.
bourbon.
That's what you want to get. You want to get into some Van Winkle. Next, coming up, we call Scottsdale, Arizona. It's this week's Yiddish Word of the Week.
I'm
Okay,
dying.
you ready?
That's a ripoff.
No. Well, you gave it to me for free, so.
You get what you paid for.
Good thing. That one they forgot to put in the whiskey.
Son of a gun.
Oh, hey now. Is this Yiddish
Hello.
Central?
This is Yiddish Central. I'm just texting you to ask you when you want me because I got to make a video for my
He's
other
making
fans.
You do-
videos now? What?
You do
What?
videos,
What's
Dawn?
going on? Is this
You
your
know, I'm
side
not
job?
exclusive to something about nothing.
You're not? I thought I had you under contract.
No, that's for audio, not video.
Oh, okay. How are you?
I am very well, thank you. I just finished dinner with some old college friends.
Nice.
And happy hour, you can't beat it at Brio. Is there a Brio? There probably is one in Seattle.
I don't know. We have a Brio?
See, every time we talk to Dawn, he's either at a restaurant or
I
just
know.
got done with a restaurant.
It's true. It's true. It's
I want
true.
Dawn's life.
He's living the dream.
Well, he has a blog. He had a blog called Don's Life.
No,
Really?
Living Don's life. Living Don's
Living Don's Life.
That's awesome.
There
Yeah.
you
I
have
Still
like
there.
it.
Is it still there?
You think Scott picked up this personality on a park bench?
it. We're not sure where he got it.
No one really is. All right, Dad. What I am very excited about today's Yiddish Word of the Week, brought to you by Water, the greatest name in showers. What is this week's Yiddish Word of the
I'll
Week?
tell you. Let me just tell you a little history here. I want to embellish the word, which is I forgot what the word is.
Oh my gosh,
He's been
Gornish.
drinking too.
Gornished.
Gornish the word. But I wanted to embellish it, so I checked with Luba the librarian, who's my 89-year-old mother-in-law, and she's the Yiddish authority, and she told me the other word is, it comes together, Gornish helfen.
Oh really?
Cornish
I
what?
didn't know. I just talked to her in the car. Gornished or Gornish helfen.
Helfen?
Yeah, Helfin. So like
Gornish Helfen. I know
Gornish.
Gornished. I know
Gornish
Gornish.
Helfen?
It's like Gornish Helvig.
Okay. So
It's a
Gornished.
it's
Let's
a-
just start with Gornished.
It's a rainstorm on steroids, like what we had this week.
Oh, that's good.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, Dawn.
I'm going to go similar to that. I'm going to go, it's like you're saturated.
Tim, you're amazing, but you're wrong.
Thank you, Dawn. I'll take that.
What derivative of that is that I've had it up to here. I'm just gornished.
Oh yeah, I've had.
2 points, but it's not you're wrong.
Oh, Tracy's getting
Tracy.
points, no matter
By the way, those of you
So
keeping
good.
track at home, score. Tim is up.
Thank you.
Tracy is
she's
not far
closing in.
behind.
Closing it.
So
Closing it?
Well, yeah, if Dawn's going to give Tracy points every time she's wrong, then yeah, she's going to start catching up.
okay, Dad. The anticipation, as usual, is overwhelming.
Okay. A guy goes into rob a bank, and they have no money. So he comes out, and his partner says, "How'd you do?" He's like, "I got gornished."
I got-
Gornished means nothing.
You got
Zero.
It's
nothing.
nothing, which is what this
Nothing.
podcast is. Something about nothing.
How perfect is
I like that.
I got gornished.
What's the Helfic? Helfic.
Yeah, what's
Help
the...
it.
Helfic.
Helfen means it's useless. That guy,
okay.
that boy that Annabelle brought home, gornished Helfen.
Really?
Wow.
Nothing's going to
He's a
happen.
This is a
useless
story I haven't
nothing.
heard about.
He's a useless nothing.
I like it.
Born losers. He's got nothing. Something about nothing.
Okay, Annabelle
So you
better
could
not
have
be
something
listening to
about-
this because that's going to break her heart.
Yeah, she doesn't
Oh,
listen.
come
None
on,
of the kids
Papa.
listen.
Stop. Yes, she
What's
does.
wrong with these kids?
Okay.
Gornished Helfen.
Gornished Helfen.
All
I
right.
didn't know what the Helfen was. I had to check with the source.
I like it.
That's
I'm not
fine.
giving
one.
Tracy any points for that. She was way off. There's no 2 points for that.
Okay.
All right, Dad. Thank you. I will see you next week. By the way,
Why don't we do the show from here?
Well,
you
I don't
go.
know
Yeah.
have the technology to do that, but maybe we could try.
Yeah, that would be awesome. We'll
That
all
would-
call it.
We're gonna have
'Cause we're-
contract negotiations.
Are you live streaming tonight?
We are.
Yeah, whoop, whoop.
That's the best. That's the best because I can tell who's wearing what hat. I mean, Todd wears that hat all the time.
Yeah, see, you never see Todd. He's like Alfred Hitchcock, and you know,
He's in the corner.
you don't ever see his face, just the top of his brim.
He's got an
And a
ammo.
headset.
He's got an ammo hat on tonight, Don.
Shocking.
Well,
And he's
have fun, you
strapping.
guys. I gotta do my
Oh yeah,
my
get on to
video
your next
because
gig.
All right,
All the words the world's waiting for it and all the ships at sea.
all
Thank
right.
you guys.
Love you, Dad.
Bye.
Bye,
See you
Don.
later. You know what's funny about that is here we're on the time schedule and your dad's saying he's got to go.
He's like, hey.
That tells you how good our show is.
He's like, hang on, wrap it up.
Okay, well, when we come back, it is time for one of everybody and all the almost 2,000 downloads, and we got 100+ average listeners. They all love Fernalicious in the news.
Yes.
Wait a minute. This is the guy. Wait, I
We just lost TV Boyle.
this is fine because I have so much. Can I swear yet? Is it past? I'm going to give him so much shit. This is the guy who takes a 6-hour cross-country flight, and today his record, his most pride moment, not his children, not anything he's accomplished in life, is the fact that he can get on a plane and not take a piss for 6 hours. And yet he's standing here for like an hour?
Come on, and at Fred's.
Seriously?
It was the triple-fisted
I do
comment.
think
Just like,
two
I'm
Cokes
sorry.
before.
This is like,
Oh, my.
Ah, TB.
I'm going to have a lot to edit. Michael, you want to hop in the store show? Tim's on the bathroom.
Yeah, we
you
got
know.
a free line.
Yeah, you
We're
come,
not
you know,
talking
we don't
about
really
anything.
care, which is pretty much the whole show, as you know.
we don't talk about anything.
These are a huge disappointment, though. I will tell you. I keep
Yeah.
picking my teeth
My
of
God.
them.
Okay, wait a minute. Timothy B. Boyle, he steps back into the mic. He sits back
Here we
down after he had to take some relief.
A little break.
You're a guy.
I didn't have the wine bottle to go in like
That's true. Maybe
Is
you
that
should
what you
get
do
one.
on the plane?
Maybe we
Yeah.
should invent that. No,
Really?
wait
You
a
take
minute.
your own
No.
I've had
The
I've had a
urination
friend.
station.
I've had a friend that you may know that's done that in first class before.
Wait a minute. You, for years, are bragging and prideful about how you can get on a plane in Seattle, go to New York, 5-6 hours to Florida, and not even think about taking a piss. And you're here for like 5 minutes and you're taking a leak?
Well, I'm not on a plane right now.
We haven't been here 6 hours.
Well, I didn't
Maybe-
go right
well, what
before.
time did
I
you
always
get
go
here?
right before I get on the plane. But I did get here at like 3 though. So I'm early. I prepare for the show, unlike you guys. Just show up.
Okay, Tim. That's a first. That's the first bathroom break on the Something About Nothing show.
It is. That's terrible.
That is.
So glad you were all here to participate.
And live streaming.
That's why we take a break, though. It's not. That's
Well,
what
we
you
do
in
take
the
a break.
podcast business.
Yes, we do.
You take a break and
And come back with Fernalicious in the news, which actually, see, I should have done a read when you were going to take a piss. We're really getting bad at this. Fern, go ahead.
Hola. Okay. Wow. I was like, wow. Okay, we're in. Okay. So the news of the week. This is from coast to coast, and I got to tell you, we talk about Fred's Rivertown Ale House and the delicious food that we eat here often. Okay, so this is about a restaurant in North Carolina, and they have some different toppings that you can add to your burger. And so they actually have a creation that they've come up with called the Tarantula Topped Burger. Now, they have other toppings that you can add. They've got rabbit and python and camel, but the Spider Burger is actually something that you have to put in. They only serve one per day. You've got to put your name in a hat, and then if you get your name drawn, then you've got to agree to eat this 8-legged burger.
it's a
A
tarantula.
tarantula on the burger.
But it's
Exactly.
a tarantula.
How
on
is it?
top
How
of
is the spider prepared?
It appeared, as I was looking at the picture, to be crispy. It's
Is it deep fried or do they throw it on the grill?
It looked crispy. I don't know if it's deep fried or grilled.
Beer battered?
Yeah, can you mistake it for like an onion ring?
No, it's a spider for sure. There's no taking it for anything. And if you want to spend your $30,
It's a $30 burger.
and then you
Man.
can manage to eat it, they'll actually give you a T-shirt.
Well, I was going to say, because it's just to go buy a tarantula is kind of expensive. It's got to be an expensive burger. I mean, unless you just
How
got them
much do tarantulas cost?
I don't know.
They
but
got to be like $30 at
Do you-
least for a tarantula.
But do you order like medium rare? I mean, what do you do there?
No, it's crispy. I think you just get one version, at least of the tarantula. I don't know about the burger part of it. Maybe you could get that medium rare.
Would you eat it? Would you try it?
Not in your life.
No,
Tracy?
No.
I got to
Tim?
tell you, I'm the first person kicked off Survivor because I'm not eating a bug or nothing or a squishy thing.
I don't like arachnids, period.
I'd eat a cricket. I'd eat a cricket.
Would you?
But I would not eat a tarantula.
No.
Because it's too big?
I think I'd have
What if you
nightmares.
didn't know it was? What if you didn't know?
Like,
you just
how
got
could
handed
you
a
not
burger.
know? Like,
You can't not know
you've
based
got-
on the picture I
yeah,
saw.
there's
I
Well,
saw
all
it
yeah,
on
things.
and the other thing is it the Goliath bird-eating tarantula that's the size of a dinner plate? I mean, that'd be like a whole meal. You couldn't even get one of those
That's
down.
only if you ask for supersizing it.
You don't supersize it. That's your trick there.
Okay.
All right, well, sticking with animals, but not all the animals. We are off to New York, morning edition. And the NYPD received a call recently that there was a tiger in downtown Manhattan.
Wow, you don't see that every day.
Right? That is shocking. Okay, and there was an animal. They called in. It was an animal on the loose. Oh, okay, 8:30 in the morning. 911 calls. There's a tiger out. NYPD, they are on the spot. Bump, bump, bump. They rush down. Well, they didn't actually find a tiger, but it was a large raccoon.
A raccoon?
Did these people not go to like primary school or something? Because when you're like
That's a
3
New
and
York
4 years
tiger,
old, I mean,
right?
don't you learn like tiger and goose and raccoon and bear?
This had to be one-
elephant.
You do know that tigers and raccoons both have stripes, right?
Yeah, but one's 680 pounds and one's like 20 pounds.
It's
And
New
one's
York.
orange and black, and one's
Maybe they were looking through their black and white goggles. So then they're just black and white.
Oh.
You can't tell. Okay, I'm just
Okay.
saying, you know what?
it's New
Wow.
York. It's
The
New York.
people
What-
the New Yorkers were concerned. All right, moving back over to Hawaii because we're crossing the country, the globe, everything's happening. We've got a scuba diver over in Hawaii that apparently thought his
You
penis
saw this, didn't you?
fit into a clam. I can't even comprehend this. I'm like, what is actually happening? Of course, he's 22 years old, and
Of
apparently
course.
the night before, he maybe had been inviting in a little bit of GHB and ecstasy, which may
G and what?
just
GHB?
just saying, I don't even know what that is.
What is that?
I'm
Is that-
reading
I
here.
thought that
Viagra or
was like human
something?
growth hormone.
No, that's HG.
B.
HGH. HGH is
Oh
human
my
growth
God.
hormone.
Todd,
The
you gonna
ecstasy-
get
I
on the
think it's
mic?
Ecstasy is what she's
I mean, you
talking
got to
about.
help us out.
No. It's GHB and ecstasy.
Isn't GHB marijuana?
I don't know. No, that's
like
THC.
THC. yeah.
Jesus. Can we get an alphabet, please?
GHB. I think it's.
We're gonna need the chemical chart
Is that
right
Molly?
here.
It's that might be Molly.
I don't know
I don't
what it
know.
is.
Where's
But
Jerry? Words with Jerry. He would know
We're
this shit.
terrible.
Who? Come on, seriously. This kid's 22 years old, and he decides that he's gonna impress his buddy, and he's gonna. I don't even know how that even is impressive, but he's gonna put his
Penis.
yes
In-
penis. Sorry, I was
in the
thinking of all the
thing.
other inappropriate words. Penis in a clam.
There's so many things I could
I
say
know,
right now.
How low do
You
we
can't
want to
say
take? Where do
them.
we want to go with this? Because we could really
my God.
go in a lot of different directions on this.
Oh my gracious!
You just, how can this even be? How can this actually get to this
Scott, you're
point?
asking me. I don't even have one.
So
That's
do
a
we
good
have-
call.
Do we know what happened?
Well, yeah. Tell them what.
Well,
Tell
we
them
do
what
know
happens.
what happened. Actually, his issues weren't because of the penis in the clam. After he removed it, he was able to remove it. Then he started experiencing severe breathing complications, vomiting, and extreme swelling.
I bet.
Aside from the other swelling.
Extreme swell.
Sorry, but because he got poisoned. The damn kid. He got poisoned by the clam. not
Clam poisoning.
the- yes.
Was it red tide?
Idiot.
Does that
I don't
happen? That happens.
Well, there's some kind of if I could find it on
like
here.
if you
It's like an allergy to seafood, basically.
This wasn't planned, but Gornish Helfin. This kid has got nothing going on.
And done.
He was like hospitalized and like
He
Is
was
he
they
okay?
showed a
hospitalized.
picture of him and he
No,
looked
yeah,
like
he's
he
gonna
was
survive.
he was
but-
on his deathbed. It looked like.
Yeah,
Wow.
severe
Oh, no.
allergic
Yeah.
reaction.
He's fine now,
okay.
but
Yeah.
We
he
only
was,
wish the best for him.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
he's
seriously.
going to recover. We
It's
don't actually
lesson
want him to
learned.
procreate in any way whatsoever.
Yeah.
No, don't
Maybe it-
pass on those genes.
maybe it made that thing so he couldn't procreate.
Maybe the clam did its job.
It-
All right.
Maybe, yeah.
It usually does.
Probably not a lot of seafoods.
Oh my God.
Tim Boyle, ladies and gentlemen. He'll be here all night. Try the veal. Tip your wait staff. Go ahead.
Fern can't talk right now.
We got to
It's
cut
just-
him off.
You know, that is why they call it a clam, right?
Oh, we had to go. I was wondering how low we were going to go on that, but
Okay,
All
next,
the way
Fern.
Okay,
down.
I'm just going to
Going all the
close
way
out with
down.
the morning edition, and I think this is super cute because it's cute. And this young lady, I should say, this young man, he's about to propose to his lovely girlfriend, and he makes up a big sign. He rents the hillside. I don't know what he does, something kind of along that lines. And he says, will you marry me? And the dad had learned about the plan ahead of time, so he pops up in the background with a big sign that says, "Say no."
I did see this.
I'm just sorry. It just made me giggle a little bit. She did say yes, and everybody's good.
She did?
They're planning a wedding. All right.
so
Anyway,
At
sweet.
least he didn't get like the
that's
airplane with the sign behind him. Say no, or
It was just a sign. It was just a little cutout sign. Maybe
that's
a big cutout sign, but
horrible.
it's like-
It's terrible.
or either that, he's just got a bad sense of humor. So.
Oh God! All right, that's the
All
news.
right, and that is
Fernalicious.
the news.
Thank you.
Very
Way
good, Fern.
to go.
Night. I'm
Tim
exhausted.
barely got through it. All right, when this is done and we move on, it's to Tracy Jansen. TracyJansen.com and 3 things.
All my Russian followers.
Oh Lordy, are you gonna play the music?
Is there music playing?
What's that? Is what?
Is there music playing?
There's gonna be.
This is what you cut out, right? When we're ridiculous and.
I do, but the raw feed sees it all.
Oh, that's right. We're live.
We're live. That's TSP right now.
Fred's Rivertown Alley has.
Wanna love you all the time. I wanna love you
That is
all the time.
Diving Horses out of Annapolis, Maryland. Love you all the time off their new EP 1.5. Available right now on bandcamp.com. Soon to be on Spotify. They got all. Go to divinghorsesband.com. You can see videos and all that kind of stuff. And now, throw it over to Tracy Jansen, TracyJansen.com
No,
for
thank
3
you.
things.
Thank you. So this 3 things this week was tough. It's been a tough week or two here in our community of Snohomish, and I alluded to it in last week's blog, and then I got a little more specific this week. We've had a lot of really awful losses here in our community that have you just seemed like one thing after another. So I just feel like I write about what I'm going through at any time. So I wrote my 3 things were about, it was a question that actually came up to me before all of this kind of came to light. It was actually a couple weeks ago. A friend had texted me late at night, and I'd already, been going to sleep. And I heard my phone, and the question she texted me was, do you believe there's a reason for everything? And so that was one of my 3 things. And I think a lot of people want to think that there's a reason for everything, that in the depths of our despair, that there's something that's going to come from that. I don't necessarily believe that. I believe that life can be hard and bad things happen. But I also believe that human beings are really, we're given the gift of intelligence and resilience, and I think we can make really wonderful things come out of bad things, basically. But and then my second thing in my three things, I talked a little bit about grief, because I think as a community we've been reeling with all different types of tragedies. Like, I mentioned the husband of someone that some of us know just dropping dead of a heart attack, and when that happens, I immediately think of the kids, without the father. And they're like, the couple's probably on the brink of retirement and thinking about what they're going to be doing. And, it's hard. I think all of us, we think of ourselves, right? I mean, that's empathy, right? That's what empathy is. So I was thinking about that. I talked about grief. I talked about grief as a salsa bar, because it's like,
I didn't see that coming.
Some is spicy and some not so spicy.
Yeah, it is.
Because if you don't laugh, you just,
right,
it's
because,
hard.
I mean, that's the human experience too, right? Is in the middle of our challenges that sometimes we can find that absurdity, and that's what, like, I think we've all had that experience where we're crying and then somebody says something and then we're laughing, and that to me is everything.
Yeah.
That's absolutely everything. And then the third thing I wrote about was prayer, and that's just such a loaded topic. For me, especially, I've kind of gone through periods of where I felt more faithful than others, and the events of this last week have made me like, how can this much pain be God's will?
Right, and where you know, we only know what we know, what we grew up with,
Right.
and your father, religion was a huge part of what you grew up with, was it not, or was it not?
I mean,
because your father and your father's father was
they were ministers, but they were never preachy.
Okay.
It was like nobody ever taught me the Lord. I didn't learn the Lord's Prayer until I went back to church for my kids when my son was 2. Like 20 some odd years ago. And I appreciated that. I appreciated that they gave me. They kind of exposed me to religion, but they didn't force feed me religion, that they let me discover it on my own. And, and I was just talking to the mister about this earlier in the week is, giving our kids that exposure to religion, but not, letting them ultimately decide. And, the bad thing about that, though, is that when we talked about that, we tell our kids, well, remember when we were going to church and we exposed you to this? And they're like, you didn't ever take us to church. And so it's just like, oh, man,
Yeah, their memories are short sometimes.
So it's just been a rough week. And I know that all of us around here have been touched by the events. And
then again, a huge problem that's been going on for a long time. Everybody's touched. Again, we had a young girl who took her life. And it's just it's a tragedy among tragedies in any light, in any way. But when it's such a young, vibrant, you just, or any tragedy, the shootings, everything, you're going, man, that's just adds an extra element of just
for
heartache.
me, I just wanted to be able, and I knew this young woman very well. I just wanted to be able to step in and say, but wait.
Yeah, it makes me think
it's
of
like it's gonna be so much better. It's gonna be so much better. And I don't know what it was, knowing her as well as I did. I don't know what it was that caused her to make that choice. And and like any suicide, the people who are left behind will never get the answers, I don't think.
It's back to what the premise here. I mean, we get to know you didn't, but you gotta talk about it. You gotta break through whatever it is. We all have these. You just these are unnecessary tragedies that you just wish, gosh, if somebody would have said something, the one moment that could have broke her out of whatever was going on.
Or are they so wrapped up in whatever there's going on in their life that it doesn't matter?
I don't know.
Because we talk about her and that she was talking to her dad moments before
texting,
she passed.
I think. Texting with her dad. Yeah.
But again, isn't that talking in their world?
Yeah, well.
I say there, but teenage kids, it's like you're talking to them if you're texting to them.
So I was having a conversation with a friend of mine earlier today, and she had mentioned this a couple years ago, and I think it's interesting. So this friend of mine, her birthday's in April, and I always think, my birthday's in May, and I'm like the whole month is a celebration, and I always think, oh, that's such a great month, my birthday month.
September's mine.
Yeah, right?
I
Right,
do
so
like
you
that
get
too.
that, right?
What?
But
Oh yeah.
TV, we'll talk later.
Yeah.
so, but she mentioned this a couple years ago. She said, April, bad things happen in April.
Yeah.
Really?
And I started thinking about that, and she's like, anytime that we have, like here in the Northwest, we've been having a spate of, some people don't like the rain, but it's been pretty dark.
Everybody at the table here except for Tracy just saying.
It's been dark. It's been rainy here. And then she said, think of the thing, Columbine happened
Yeah.
in April, Martin Luther King Jr.
Yes, I was just thinking of that.
Okay. She brought up some other things, but bad things tend to happen in April. I'm like, no, that's not true, because your birthday's in April. April's a good, because I'm trying to make her feel better, right? But this April has been... It's been rough, especially right here in our little community.
Yep.
It's been rough. A lot of people are going through some really, really awful time, like the worst of the worst.
Yeah, this one was particularly rough because all of our, you obviously knew her well, but all of our kids knew this girl, and there was no warning signs.
None.
And it's similar to that kid at WSU, the quarterback,
Yes.
where it's almost people describe him as the same as like the most uplifting kids, and always always in a good mood, always there to help somebody when they
Right.
need it.
Right.
And that's kind of what makes it tough. And
I know, and you think about, this will date me a little bit, but, the after-school specials, and you think about the kid who takes their own life, and they're the brooding, dark, they've had some family issues, and they're, all of that, and these kids are not those kids. Yep. And I think I also talked about this in my blog, that I think it's really important that, we all ask those questions, like, what could have we done, or didn't they know, or wasn't there, we're grasping for an explanation, and I think there are sometimes that there is no explanation. There's a reason why they call them senseless tragedies.
Yes.
Because there's no sense to be made. And I know the family, and I want, I hope the family doesn't blame themselves, but as somebody who has lived with people who have lived with family members who have taken their own lives, I know that that's hard,
Oh, you can't begin to imagine. Nothing will ever be the same.
And I think it's also important, too, is those of us that have kids who are at the high school and all of that. And I think this is a really critical time right now. There's a lot of kids at the high school I know that said, if this young woman could do this, then anybody could.
Yeah.
And I think we need to.
I think that's really true.
And I think I think they're scared.
Scary.
And I think if there's anybody kind of on the brink, that we need to be aware of that. So talk to your kids. I know that so many of us do, but I don't know what's going on. It's a bit of an epidemic right now.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Well, we're all biased, but I'm telling you, every blog that you write, is just remarkable and beautiful and perfect in the words and the way you string them together. But this one, ladies and gentlemen, TracyJansen.com. Follow her on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. It
was a blog I didn't want to write.
No, it was, but it's good life
lesson,
lesson, and it's good for all of us to have that moment to say, you know what, I got to think about those things and make sure that the people I care about, I do ask those questions and we do talk about it.
Thank you.
All right, so what I say to my daughter is, listen, if you're going to off yourself, do it now because it'll save me some cash.
Oh, Todd.
And Todd Elbing.
And there's Todd.
That may or may not end up in the final podcast.
Okay.
All right, Tracy. Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you for doing what you do.
No,
Not a really fun
No.
3 things this week.
And we're sorry for your loss because
Well,
you're
absolutely.
hurting more than we are.
No,
and
but you know
it's-
what? It's like I talked about those concentric circles, and I think it was Scott, it's your wife who's my friend who talks about that blast radius. It's like know where you are in that radius
Yep.
and reach in and
Yep.
grab the person
All right.
closer.
You get to go to the restroom if you want and take a break. Unlike Tim Boyle, you've used up your
It's the
vacation
bourbon
time. That's your
talking.
vacation time.
I'm starting a trend of us having to leave to go to the restroom. Trendsetter.
All right, that'll do it for that. When we come back, we'll finish it off with no, you didn't.
If she listens to the podcast, she's going to hear
I
it.
don't know if I believe that.
How old is your daughter?
No, junior, isn't she?
She's,
Oh, I
she's
thought-
the same age as Tanner.
I thought your daughter's a junior. Why have I been thinking your daughter's a junior all this time? I thought she's the same.
I thought
grade
you.
as-
I've been thinking you're 39
I am
all this time.
Well, you'd be right.
Is she Snohomish or GP?
She's GP.
Oh,
Oh,
what's your name?
oh my gosh.
Because seriously, she's the same grade as Tanner. What's her name? No,
Sarah.
Sarah. Okay.
Sarah.
Sarah's
Who sang that? Who sang it?
I can't hear this.
Air Supply.
Long red
No.
hair.
Sarah. Who is it?
I think it's
Sarah-
Jefferson Starship.
No, Sarah Smile.
Yeah.
Sarah,
No.
That's the
I'll
whole
talk to T
notes.
about it.
That's Hall and Oates, maybe.
Who?
Sarah Smile. Sarah's.
I don't know that one. But the one Scott was singing was Jefferson Starship.
Yeah, Sarah.
That
Sarah.
one.
She did know that girl, but she said that there wasn't any signs, nothing.
The-
No, everyone
Yeah,
said there's
that-
nothing. There's no one saw that even a million miles away. All right, time for No You Didn't. Boy, we have so much. I mean, we
How are we
missed
looking
one
on
week.
time?
We're not good.
Oh my
we
God.
gotta wrap
I
it
gotta be
up.
home by midnight.
Yeah, I know.
I have commitments.
They're flashing the lights here at
Man.
Fred's Rivertown Ale House.
Jeez, last call.
Let's start with Michael Cohen, and they have raided every possible place that he could be. His house, his home, his hotel. I love that it's hotel. Does he have a hotel and a house
Do
in
you
the
have
same
a
place?
hotel? I don't. I just have one.
I
I've
mean-
got a house. I don't have a
So you
hotel.
gotta-
His office?
That's his man cave. apparently.
Jeez.
How do you get a hotel?
I don't know.
That's
That's
real easy.
Okay.
You just go get one.
Apparently.
that, in every news report, right? Didn't you see that?
Yeah.
His house, his home, or his office, his house, and his hotel.
Well,
What-
he was
Really?
He was on business.
So then, of course, just actually as I was coming down, or before I came down, Trump tried to file something legal to say that he wanted to read all the things that the FBI had gotten, and that was denied. The federal judge said, no, you can't read
I saw
everything.
that. Yeah.
So what do we think? Now, again, this is weird because, and we had Lewis Hoffman on last time, he kind of actually precluded all. He kind of laid this out a little bit. He kind of focused on the Michael Cohen thing with the Stormy Daniels. But I first going, wow, can they raid lawyers' offices? That
That's
just
not
seemed
something
weird.
they normally do. Like in Watergate, with all the stuff that was going on, they never raided Nixon's lawyer. They never did it with Clinton and all the Whitewater and all his
And
investigation.
Paula or whatever.
And
But
Paula
they-
Jones. And this, it's kind of weird. They basically they said that, well, if the lawyer is conspiring to commit a crime with the client, then they can technically go raid that, and there's no attorney-client privilege. That's what they were claiming.
Right, and then I heard just yesterday, and this was Barry Levinson, who's an attorney on Tony Cornhar's show, but he was talking about how the client attorney privilege was the big question here.
Yeah.
Get all this stuff. Isn't it protected? Apparently he hasn't really been practicing much law lately, which I thought was interesting only because didn't he just get a new client, Hannity, from
Yeah.
Fox?
they did. That was the big revelation
It's
that
like,
came out.
seriously. Who
Yeah.
does this guy not represent?
Well, he only
Elvig,
has-
is it something you're
No,
leaving
he
out?
only has 3 clients. He only has 3 clients.
Seriously?
Trump, and that was the third client was the big
Brody?
mystery.
Come on, Trump would be a full-time client.
Elliot Brody?
Exactly.
Yeah.
He has 3.
Elliot
I don't
Brody?
know who the middle guy was in some kind of trouble too. Obviously.
Yeah, Brody, who's the
Yeah.
Republican National Committee, he's the deputy finance chair. He resigns
Yeah.
because he paid $1.6 million to a Playboy playmate that he was having an affair with, who was pregnant, she says allegedly his child, he admitted that, I guess, in the thing. He said, hey, yeah, I had a relationship. She got an abortion, paid her $1.6 million over 2 years. His attorney, Michael Cohen. It's like all of a sudden this guy keeps popping up.
Well, so he's only got 3 clients.
Right.
So
Did he have OJ?
No.
I'm just kidding.
Anyway, he resigns, and then that whole story that McDougal or something comes out. I don't know. All kinds of.
I'm not sure what the Sean
Michigas.
Hannity thing means.
I don't either. I think
'cause
that's just a coincidence.
Well, CNN was like, it's this huge breaking news that's like earth-shattering.
But
that
it was
Sean Hannity's his third client. It's like, well, so Sean Hannity needs, he's got.
Well,
he's
has he
going-
been recently? Was this new? I don't think the Hannity thing is here nor there.
See, that's what I thought. I think that's okay. Well, that may not mean anything. That
No.
Sean Hannity has a lawyer, yeah, because he's a big, high-profile guy.
So tied into all this stuff, I want to talk about the big Comey book that's coming out tomorrow, actually. This podcast will probably hopefully get published tomorrow, Tuesday the 17th. So as everyone predicted, I mean, Trump has just been bashing left and right. Comey, worst FBI director ever, liar, slime bag, blah, blah, blah.
It's just the same thing over and over again. Anybody produces any allegations against him, he's like, they're a mess. They're,
well,
there's
Comey is saying a lot of very disparaging things about Trump, too.
Yeah.
So it's,
Sure,
that's
right.
not
That's
really
what he's
fair.
trying to. He's coming out against it
yeah,
because he knows he's coming after him,
'cause
right?
He's been he's been coming out saying all these very disparaging things about Trump. So of course Trump is a little kid, and he doesn't have any thick skin, and he's got a fire.
Don't they have
back as
drugs
well.
for that? Can we get him something?
Yeah, what is it?
I don't know. But the Comey
Ritalin?
book
Ritalin,
is
yeah.
a higher loyalty, truth, lies, and leadership. Now, you can't fit that in the back of a shirt very easily. I would like to talk to that's not a great title. We should cut that down. We need some editing.
Yeah, I got to tell you, with Comey, I would think that since he was the director of the FBI, he would have a little bit more of a high road too, because he's really going after Trump. He's trying to sell books, and he's did a 5-hour interview with, of course, George Stephanopoulos, who's not exactly neutral on anything.
Well, yes or no, but also Comey was appointed by a Republican president, Bush, the Bush thing.
Yep.
His story, his past, he talks in the previews that I've read. He sent a section of 50-some pages on the Trump, on the current administration and all those things. Then he actually talks a lot about a Bush, when he was at the Bush administration. Again, I don't know. It comes out tomorrow. Everyone's got excerpts. Wow, that was really hard. And I haven't had 3 bourbons and whatever.
Don't make fun of Tracy like that.
Come on now, right?
Hey, she's earned her bourbon.
I think, again, this is you're going to just get all worked up. Todd's got to get the microphone on here in any second.
Get the mic, Todd.
If I'm Trump, again, his childish things or whatever, he's trying to discredit every single thing he can. The FBI, the Department of Justice, the Attorney General, who he can't stand now. All these things because they keep getting closer and closer to the money. I don't know what's out there, if anything. They're following the money.
I thought they were following the Russians.
Well, which is part of the money.
Oh, come on. You think he's was paying off the Russians or something?
He owes the Russians a lot of money before he was the president of the United States. As a matter of fact, he couldn't borrow from anybody else except the Russians. This is why also he keeps going like, oh, yeah, Russians are bad because we're getting to the Syria discussion because the Russians and Syria are together. And then he backed off today comments because he's like, oh, I mean, again, I'm not saying, Putin, don't you got to make sure my Putin boy.
Okay, so we got to be fair here, too. Do you know why the Russians and Syria are together? Because Obama basically let that happen because he was so easy on Syria and the whole Russian thing. That's why they're like a joint task force.
I actually got you on this one. Those of you on STSPN.
Yeah, like Scott's digging for
what are you
ammo.
pulling out? Pulling out the New York Times?
This is the Wall Street
That's
Journal, and this
Huffington
is the
Post.
Seattle Times also. But as far as the history of Syria, this conflict, You're absolutely right. 2012 president. This is by a story by Amanda Erickson this is from the Washington Post. So again, it's probably completely fake and
biased.
horrible and completely liberal bias,
Well,
right?
if it's from the Washington Post, it's very slanted.
Obviously, Scott.
That's Jeff.
I'm like, oh, where are you
Unbelievable.
going?
If you saved it, we know it's liberal.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. If I saved it. This is out of the Seattle Times today. But yes, 2012, Barack Obama called the use of chemical weapons the red line. He actually, that
he
terminology is using now. You hear that today. Killed 1,400 people a year in eastern Ghouta. U.S. government assessment, Obama backed away from a strike. That's what you're alluding to?
Well, I'm alluding to he drew a red line in the sand, and I was watching the interview live when a reporter, after they used chemical weapons, a reporter said, well, what about your red line in the sand now? And Obama's comment was verbatim, well, I didn't draw a red line in the sand. The world drew a red line in the sand.
Well,
which that was BS. He drew a red line in the sand,
okay,
backed off of it, and then didn't admit it.
That's fine, because here's the other problem with this, and this is actually the UN Security Council ordered Assad to destroy his chemical weapons on stockpile and sign the Chemical Weapons Convention, which prohibits countries from producing, stockpiling, or using chemical weapons. But there have been several reports of chemical weapons at attacks since then, of course. So he's like, oh, yes, I've been a bad boy. I'm going to go hide all my chemical weapons, whatnot. Because this is a more complex issue.
Agreed.
That deals with everything else. Yeah. And you get into this, the bottom line is you have a dictator and a communist leader in Putin who's with Assad, who's a communist and dictator leader. And then you have Iran involved, you have Turkey involved. All of these things are interconnected. So you can go and take out chemical weapons and all the horrible things that are being done, and 500,000 people over the years since started in 2011. This is bad, but even he listened, maybe Trump did, to the generals and to the security people, and he wanted to go the reports have been that he wanted to go do something even bigger, and Probably. They kind of backed him off a little bit, right? Because this is you got to tread carefully, I guess, is my point, because it's all interconnected.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. He also had 105 missile strikes, and like every single one hit their target exactly how they planned, but only you will not see that in the mainstream media. They don't report.
No, I read that in Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, well,
is that Main Street? That's not Main Street.
Yeah, Wall Street.
I read it on CBS News. I read that actually.
Did you see where today where the UN went in there?
I can't hear you. You gotta get closer to your mic.
Just put your mic up a little closer.
Yep.
Did you see today where the UN went in? Their inspectors went in there and Syria said no.
No, actually it said today that they were actually allowed.
Was it yesterday they were blocked?
Maybe allowed.
Because they told them they couldn't go in there and inspect.
There's bad stuff, but my thing is the root cause of all of this is that you have, and it's all propaganda what you're going to hear from Syria, right? They're saying, oh, our anti-missiles hit them, and they didn't. And I agree. We have the technology to get, down to a gnat's ass if we want to do something. I'm not arguing with the attack and stopping
I don't even know what
crazy
your point
man.
is.
What is your point?
I'm not a point of the fact that when you go do these things, there's much more complexity.
I don't think anybody's arguing that.
No.
So,
all right, Paul Ryan resignation.
I think
what do we think?
I think that hurts the Republican Party personally, because I think he's a good leader, and I think that's just I think that's a blow to the Republicans.
Why do you think he actually resigned? I mean, I know he said publicly what he wants to do, and
I think probably is because he probably thinks he can make 10 times more being in the private sector, probably.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. That's
Tracy?
my guess. I don't know why else he would resign.
Fern, Tracy, Todd, anything?
I think, good riddance. Yeah. I mean, I'm that bleeding heart liberal.
What did he do specifically that you didn't like?
I just don't think he stood up to Trump and the stuff that was going on. I think he was he was a bit of a pussy, in the whole thing. I think he needed to stand up. I don't know. That's my.
Well, one of the theories is the fact that he went to Trump and said, one of the theories of why one of the reasons he's leaving is he thought, hey, this guy doesn't have any political experience. I've been working on all this stuff. I'm now the Speaker of the House. I'm going to go to him and say, hey, finally, I got a Republican president. Let's get this stuff done. Let's do this, 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 and this. And Trump didn't say yes, like right away for everything. tax cut. He's going to call on that. So and we talk about this. This isn't your father's Republican Party. And one of the questions even from the Republican is Trump a Republican? I don't know. He's not doing very traditional Republican things in some ways. So that's the conjecture of why one of the reasons Paul Ryan left, because he's like, you know what? We're not even doing what we want to do here.
So basically,
go ahead,
you're blaming Trump on Paul Ryan.
I'm saying I'm not blaming anybody. I'm saying I've heard different theories.
Have you ever gone to your boss with a list of things you're so excited about and you want to do this and this, and they're like, eh?
Yeah, I tell my bosses and myself, and I talk to myself constantly.
Okay, I'm not looking at you. I'm looking to look at.
No, I know.
I'm looking
yes.
at Tim. I'm not kidding. I do this.
I have a lot of bosses, actually.
You're right, and you're super excited what your idea is, and then all this, and then they take you down a notch.
Yeah, of
pretty
course.
much all the time.
I'm saying that's one of the
too,
theories.
Tim.
Yeah,
like, so
because
that's what I'm saying is like, would that be any different than this?
I mean, he's 48 years old.
You think of the party, though. It's not like Paul Ryan, like an individual in the private sector, going to his boss, Donald Trump.
But that's where I think that Donald Trump, not being a real Republican, maybe he's not representing the party. He's like, okay, so the party wants to do this. I'm like,
well, it's obvious that the Republican Party has had some hits, already, and so.
I learned also this is from Chris Cillizza, who is on CNN, but he's on the Tony Kornheiser show. Apparently, there's only been one time in last decades, the sitting president coming up, they lose a lot of seats, almost 30 seats in Congress. Every single, yeah, except once. I didn't realize that.
It happened with Clinton.
Yeah.
Obviously, it happened with Obama in 2010. He lost both, I think, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's pretty common. So history dictates that Trump's going to lose maybe the Senate or the House on this next election.
All right. Anything else other than, again, we had a good text string going about sports and tragedy are the only thing that brings people together. Common good, common American. Is that too defining?
No, that might sum it up.
I think sports is changing slightly over the last couple of years, where it's actually starting to divide people a little bit.
If you're rooting for the same team,
I'm not talking about rooting for I'm talking about politics in sports.
Yeah.
With the Kaepernick and the
bleeding together. All right. We are the lights are dimming here. We got to go. Thank you. That kicks it up a notch. I had my closing thank you somewhere. Here we go. Thank you to our guest today, my father, Don Ashman. Also Jeremy Graham from Nashville, Tennessee. Also our featured band, you're hearing them, the Driving Horses. By the way, we do play the whole song at the end of the podcast right after this. So thank you to our sponsors. Oh, it just cut out. The Outdoor Biz podcast, which I didn't mention today, and of course Fred's Rivertown Ale House and STSBN.com. It's on, it's off, it's on, it's off, it's on, it's off.
But
you're making
here.
my editing just hail. Thank you very much, Todd Elvig. Beautiful job. Available on Spotify, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Apple, Stitcher, Google Play, and if you listen on iTunes, please leave a review. We will be off for a couple of weeks. May 7th, the week of May 7th, might be back on. Tim Boyle going to be out of town there. We'll talk about it.
You're calling
Thursday night, I'm back.
Great.
But share this podcast.
We'll be here at Cunio's.
Thank you. Keep sharing it with everybody. Have a great week. Remember, talk to each other. It could save the universe.
Yes.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
What did you call it, Antonio's? What did you just? We'll be here at Antonio's. Oh. I think you mixed a couple
and
words.
Cunio's,
Tunio,
and
Tunio's.
And Fred Rivertown Ale House, Cunio's, Tunio's.
I'm saying you're in.
And by the way, you guys are right about the toothpicks.
Right? Thank you.
They used to. I think
spend $9 on that.
I think what happened is they dry out.
Maybe.
Because when I first got them, they were super flavorful. Really? So I think I opened them and then closed, and then it just dried out.
Like, how long have you had them?
I've had these for a few months.
You need to use your toothpicks.
And I kept wanting to bring them down here, and I kept forgetting.
They're not like beer; they go bad.
Apparently.
Well, I feel like you
They
might
go
want to use
neutral.
those up. It tastes like a toothpick. It evaporated.
I didn't even get to
Thank you.
this.
Is that mine?
Oh, this can't possibly be mine.
Why does it have 7 glasses of wine on it?
Put everything on Ferns, Michael.
Don't even judge.
Looks like she had more than she did because I gave her 2 glasses of half
This is mine.
I don't even know what that was, but we're gonna pay for
Murphy
it.
cab.